I might got a fold today. Toronto in the building. What's good? As I see people from different places, man, I wonder how the system is and what's going on, the climate of things up there. Um, I don't watch the news, but automatically, you know, why I don't watch the news is because like it's anxiety 101. It's like, hey, watch the news, run your anxiety up. First thing I seen was somebody had declared the United States enemy. It's just like, oh my goodness. Then the next page, or I said the next page. Then the next story, 14-year-old kid tried to rob a gas station, ended up. Yeah, it's just like, man, do I know how biker clubs work or in prison? You know, to be honest with you, I never really seen them active, but I was on the East Coast, so I don't. I would assume on the West Coast, certain states, they're active. I just don't know. Where I was at, not active. Didn't see them. 813 Shine, what's good? Appreciate that. He said, keep educating folks on what it's really like. My last bid was 7 years, bought equal pride. You had some, okay. I see you did some time. You had some time behind the wall. To everybody that shows love with the gifts, I always send follows back too, man. If I missed that, definitely let me know so I can get you. Shasha, what's good? Everybody joining the lives. This is a place where you can ask questions. If you see my content, I've been telling my story up here too. I'm like on part 50. But, you know, I talk about prison and the reality of the justice system and all that in different perspectives, different ways, consistently. And I won't stop because there's always these, you know, these messages that I get where they're like, yo, the story helped change me. Or I'm decided not to go down this path. Or so it's motivation to get up here every day and continue to speak to the point. This morning, the topic of the conversation or whatever it was I was speaking to some youngins and they were talking about the Bun B situation and you know their perspective on that, what their thoughts were when they seen him on the stand testifying, etc. And I kind of broke that down, but I wanted to continue the conversation about what's going on. SK, what's good, man? What's going on in the courts, right? And the process or what happens when you step into the courtroom. Essentially, you know, in short, and shout out to everybody that's liking the live, tapping the screen, let them know we here. When these kids, when these people, I'm gonna say people because it's not always just kids. When people are arrested, typically, relatively quick, a plea is offered. All right. And the plea is offered because the courts don't want to waste time having somebody go to court, especially if they feel like they know the person's guilty. So they're going to offer that person a plea, which is typically less time they would receive as it than if they got found guilty in a court of law. This is not always true, but typically and primarily this is how it goes. Before they get to that place, they're always looking for leverage. They're always looking for who's gonna crack, who's gonna speak, who's gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna give up what piece of information, all of that, because that's typically how they're gonna offer the plea and the way of which they're gonna offer the plea to the individuals that are attached to the case. But what they know typically when an individual is now going to have to step into the courtroom is that they're uninformed. You're stepping into a situation where you know not everybody, but most do not know about the law. They were not taking into consideration the laws that they were violating, nor did they have enough money for a proper legal defense. So they leveraged that. They used that. That's why the plea is offered. When you don't accept the plea, you take the gamble. You could fight your case, beat it, end up with less time, or you could fight your case, not beat it, end up with more, which typically is what happens because you done pissed the prosecutor and everybody else off. YFN Jado, what's good, man? We got France in the building too. So that's the process. That is typically what happens. People, I did a post about public defenders, and people were like, yo, some people were like, I got the greatest public defender in the face of the planet Earth. I want you to know it's like 2 out of every 100 people. You're 2%. The majority will tell you what the reputation is. And unfortunately, I don't know whether they're outmanned when it comes to their caseload. They just don't give it. I don't know, but that's what happens. And unfortunately, the other piece is the majority of times people committing crimes because they need money, and therefore by the time they get locked, they don't have the money, as stated, for legal defense. At least know the process. You know, I was talking to Young earlier. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just here to tell you what happens if you go down this path. That way you can make the best decisions for you. And that's all I feel like anybody could ever ask for. Um, I'll continue to do it in a different way. I'll continue to be transparent. I'll continue to have these conversations where it'll make people think. And I'll continue to try to show y'all a piece of the picture that maybe you didn't really think about or never saw before. Because hopefully it's that thought. And again, if maybe not for you, but it's for whoever may need it, at that time, man. I know the way I started changing the way I thought, it came from different ways, man. It came from listening to different music, being around certain people that were more positive, all of that. Good point, King. He said the judge and the lawyer went to the same school together, man. Jennifer Free and D, what's good? But that's what it is, man. We got Russia over on the YT side too, man. We multi-stream right now, man. They all get coffee after they sentence someone to life, and that's facts. You know, when you understand the system, you can better maneuver in the system. But unfortunately, for the most of us, we don't know about the system. We don't know how they operate until we're already in it. You know what I'm saying? Do you know the Sterniolo? I do not. Triplets. I do not. Is that a big story? I don't know. I can definitely look up. Somebody said, "Can you play Not Like Us?" Eventually. Eventually. Any advice for somebody who was sentenced to life, whose case was sent back to lower courts? Just keep yourself in position. If you have the opportunity to hire a private investigator to possibly find some new evidence to, help you get that sentence overturned, do that. And always, by any means, if you can prove that your original attorney was ineffective, anything that can prove why you should be back in court, or potentially be gone, yeah. Somebody said, is this different from one state to another? I don't know. No, I think the system as a whole, it's gonna differ a little bit in the states, right? Certain laws will change, but overall, the culture and the way the system is and the way, yeah, it's kind of similar. It reflects itself overall. That's why you get same stories from all over the country. And again, I always got to say this part. Nobody's up here asking, boo hoo or asking for pity or nothing like that. We're just educating, inform. We just want y'all to know what's going on in the system, how real it really is, man. Any advice for a first-time prison fiance while pregnant? Um, Hopefully you're on the outside. I don't want to assume, but I will tell you this. Recently at our wake up event, we had a lady that spoke about giving birth to her child while incarcerated. Man, somebody's trying to battle. Leave me alone. So hopefully that's not the case. But outside of that, it's tricky. I don't know how much time your significant other is facing, or has, but I would just say communicate, communicate, communicate. Just that's it. And be realistic with expectations throughout the whole thing, because it's tough. Hopefully he's coming home soon or they're coming home soon, whatever it is. So you don't have to do this thing too long alone, but it's a tough situation. I don't really know if there's a right way to approach it other than just keep that line of communication open as possible. Make sure, without a doubt, what up, Blue Shift? Make sure, without a doubt, um, you're just being transparent. Make sure, without a doubt, that you're taking the time to keep them connected. Again, hopefully, it's just a short period of time. Miss Candy Apple, what's good? But even if it's a long period of time, make sure you keep them connected by it could be everyday decisions, short, stuff that you around the house. Hey, I'm gonna paint. I always use the paint in the wall as an example, man. Hey, it doesn't. What does it hurt to get some input from them while they're on the inside? It gives them value. It keeps them connected to the outside world. So definitely, man. What's up, y'all? What's the chances to get approved when it comes to parole? And you're very welcome, Carmen. What's going on, Max? I mean, that's dependent upon the individual. Again, as an advocate, as somebody that's working with individuals that are incarcerated, trying to make it home, somebody that's writing the support letters and monitoring cases, I would just say it's all about making sure the individual on the inside is taking every single opportunity to better themselves. making sure that that individual on the inside is keeping them in position or keeping themselves in position in order to make parole. Um, it's not something that's just given. And I think a lot of times the family members, certain people, they assume, and I'm not saying this is the case for everyone, but even the guys that are incarcerated, once they're eligible, they feel like they should automatically get it. No. Make sure you're staying out of trouble, not catching charges. Make sure you're signing up for school. If you can't get into programs, make sure you're on a waiting list. Make sure you're doing something that shows the people that you're working towards your freedom and you're self motivated in there. Get letters of support. But whatever you do, you got to build a case. You got to give them a reason to open that door, so to say. And appreciate everybody liking the live right now, y'all. Let's try to get to 1,000 real quick. We're answering some questions, doing some good Q&A this afternoon, or depending upon where you guys are at, your time zone. Lau said it's tough for them when inside and tough outside for us, the wiser girlfriends, trust and communication. Prison is designed, incarceration is designed, hands down, to destroy and take away from when it comes to relationships. It just is what it is. From how they move an individual 2 hours away to how they used to charge, and hopefully they do it less and less in certain states. They're becoming free now, but they used to charge $20 a phone call or something ridiculous. There's just certain things that they do within prison or through the system that, man, let's be clear, it's an attack on the relationship, not just the individual that's incarcerated. Punishment should be for the individual, not for those that are attached to them, but, Nance 83. What did I think when I heard 144 years? I thought it was over with. That's all I heard. I didn't. I blanked out until my attorney started breaking down. He was like, "Yo, you're good. You know what I'm saying? You're okay." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, you got a second chance. You can." And then the reason he said he was okay, he was like, "Well, as long as we file within 2 weeks, you can file your habeas to get back in court for sentence modification." All this stuff which he never helped me with, but in a moment, it kind of it rested my mind for a second. King Gordo, you say you got to sit down for 3 years, man. Hey, bro, while you're there, just work on yourself, work on your mind, work on your body. Find yourself, spiritually or your foundation, if you haven't already. But if you have, improve upon these things, and just work on you. Make the best of the time so it doesn't end up being a wash or negative, and you come away better for it. And perfectly perfect. Are felons able to get housing assistance? I haven't seen it like that where I'm at. That's one of the big issues here in Atlanta. Like certain cases, certain charges, definitely not. You can't even move to certain areas, obviously, and yeah. So like if you got like a pharmaceutical hustler's charge, for instance, read between the lines, like yeah, you're not gonna get no assistance. You're not even gonna be able to rent anywhere for real. It's so crazy how they make it hard for somebody to live, but you want them to be successful. I never really understood that part. That always kind of tripped me out a little bit. But hey, we'll figure it out. But that's it, man. Y'all getting ready to hop over here to YouTube so I continue this conversation. Link is in the bio if you want some more questions. But I will be back up here this evening on TikTok. But right now, like I said, I'm streaming on YouTube, Christopher Life Willars, or you could tap the IG link in the bio. My YouTube will pop up. And that's it, man. I'm glad I was able to answer some questions. Thank you for the love. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you just for coming through and sharing some of your thoughts, what you're going through, supporting each other, all that good stuff, man. Being transparent and positive in the chat. And remember, every time you interact with the content, it increases the opportunity of it going somewhere that it's needed. It potentially goes somewhere where somebody can find motivation or inspiration to move a different way, change their life for more. So thank y'all, man. Follow me over on YouTube right now if you want to continue this conversation. If not, I'll be back up here on TikTok tonight. And I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace. I like this. I'm learning. Huh. Cause the afternoon I like to jump around like different different platforms or whatnot. So yeah, and then at night I always go live on TikTok for sure. Yep. So, YouTube, what's up, man? IG too, man. What's good, y'all? Conversation continues. It is 107 degrees here in Georgia. Just earlier today, was able to have a real good conversation with somebody that's getting ready to do this 2-day event for young men, boys and young men. It's a sports camp, but we're gonna wake them up. I'm gonna be there as a motivational speaker, one of the people that's gonna be talking there, and just interacting, doing some small group facilitation stuff like that. So I'm grateful for that opportunity and looking towards that. Somebody asked me, they were like, "How many more days are you gonna get up here and talk about prison?" And I sarcastically responded, I was like, "Well, I got sentenced to 144 years and I did 17, so I got 17 years of content to go, or that's what I got in the tank." And he was like, "For real?" I was like, "No, bro, chill out. I was just joking." But he was like, "No, seriously, why are you always discussing it?" And it's simple. This is advocacy. This is the way the majority of the world, or a lot of the world, communicates. We utilize social media. So this was an opportunity for me to reach people, a different audience, in a different way, in hopes that the message could be heard that prison does not provide rehabilitation, that prison is sending people home that are a little bit more damaged, you know what I'm saying, rather than healed. That prison is not paying attention to things like mental health before individuals come home, that there aren't resources dedicated and allocated to individuals coming home, especially when it comes to their mental health. But yet, we're still requiring and requesting these individuals be successful out here in the world. It's kind of hard. I don't really understand necessarily the thought process behind it. I'm grateful because in my situation, I had support, but that's unlike so many people. The majority of people that come home from incarceration do not have the needed and necessary support in order to succeed. And it's not always not because they don't have people around them, but their people don't know how to navigate a situation like this. They don't know where the resources are. They don't know what the conversation should be had. They don't know who to reach out to prior to their individual coming home from incarceration so they can be successful. There's so many unknown variables that are stacked up against people that are incarcerated and their families, especially because a vast majority, a vast percentage, are first time offenders. Therefore, if you're the first one introducing that to your family, you are inadvertently making your family first time offenders or whatever first too, because they're going to be impacted directly, whether it's because of your absence out of the household, physically or financially, or what, they will feel your impact gone. Ahmed said, "Is it hard to get visas after jail? I heard that Australia and Canada don't let people with criminal history into their countries. How to deal with that?" I have my passport, but yes, there's certain countries like Canada. You always got to double check. Just because you have your passport, just because they accept felons, does not mean they'll necessarily accept you. I could have ended up crossing into Canada and been in a situation that wasn't necessarily the most conducive for me. Luckily, I had a friend reach out prior to me going up there. I was in Michigan, and she saved me a headache, I'm sure. Moving football heads said prisons were built from convict leasing during Jim Crow. Yes, the prison industrial work complex. Man. Alive and breathing very, very well to this day. It's systemic. We continue to say that. It's not a conspiracy theory breakdown. It's just what it is. When you put people in a certain environment and you put certain elements in there, it's only a matter of time until certain results come forth. Think of a petri dish and adding only certain chemicals, etc. Eventually, those chemicals are going to cross each other's path and mix enough that it causes a reaction chemically. And that's the same way it is when you're dealing with the projects of the hood, etc. It's only a matter of time. Yes, some will go unscathed and unimpacted. Well, not unimpacted, but unimpacted at least to the way that they'll be able to maneuver without ever seeing the inside of a jail or prison cell. But a large percentage, unfortunately, will know that experience. The prisons and jails are warehouses. There are generations of families that are locked up for years to come. There's literally people that are being forgot right now. And again, not saying that they didn't make some of the decisions that would put them in that environment, but just reminding everyone that it's very real. There's somebody that went in when they were 18 that the world has forgot about. That's he's been down over 20 some years, and everybody that he knew is either gone or passed. Again, not the boohoo pity party request, just stating the facts. Don't you think society would be better if we approach certain things in a different way? I do. I happen to think that way, but I might be tripping. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think as much as we say, oh, we should lock them up and throw away the key, the truth is the majority are coming home. People like myself, we're coming home. So you should want, as somebody that lives in society, for them to at least be better. That should be the one thing everybody agrees upon. There should actually be rehabilitation, programming, etc., mental health support, and resources so I could sleep better at night when my neighbors are returning to the community. But, you know, maybe one day. When I break that down to some people, they still don't get it. No, they shouldn't be let out. He got a DUI. He didn't take anybody's life. There's a problem. He needs rehabilitation. You know, it's those types of conversations that we're trying to have, those dialogues that we're trying to spark, and we'll continue to do so, quite honestly. It's necessary, it's imperative, and we're going to keep doing the work. I will be back up here later tonight, y'all. If you can, man, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell. I'm on YouTube and Instagram right now. I'll be back up here live periodically. If you do that, you know when I'm live, tap in with the conversation. Make sure you bring the comments and tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're having real dialogue up here. We just getting started. We're trying to wake some people up. We're trying to wake each other up. We're trying to move further into freedom, man. Or maybe into freedom for the first time for a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody stay focused. I will be back again. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, and comment, all that good stuff. I'll be going live a little bit later, y'all. Peace, peace, peace.